claws this time! This time we ain't ending in a draw!
Ready? Fight!
Swiss cheese!
What's up, guys? This is jmoonies, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Lobby Challenger. Basically, where I take up challenges from my subs and pretty much try to learn how to be a better player overall. 3 episodes into this series, it's been a nice change from just playing online ranked matches. Going over these old sessions and kind of realizing what kind of mistakes I've been repeating has actually given me a certain amount of awareness as to my play style, and I've been able to adjust my strategies accordingly. While playing ranked matches is great, the only problem is that you end up playing each opponent only once, and most of the time they're not really prepared for strategies you use too often. This is why Hulk tends to be very successful online, at least from my perspective. Though lately, having the opportunity to replay my opponents, I've been frequently punished on silly things that I do a little too often. So I've been able to take a few things from the previous matches. By the way, those of you who commented in the last video, thank you very much for giving me tips on the Nova stuff. Also, thanks to Ertola, I have now figured out how to do the Gamma Wave OTG to Gamma Crush Hyper combo for that extra damage. So I've been putting that into pretty good practice ever since the last episode. This first match you're watching right now is actually between me and Eureka Fox. Unfortunately, we were only able to get 1 round in, so don't take this as a gauge of his skill, since we will be playing more in the days to come. In 2012, in fact.
Air combo!
Smash you! Gamma Crush!
Hyper combo KO! Fight!
Next challenger I have is Wolverine, who I've got to say, probably one of the most polite players I've run into. Gives me hints and kind of says good job through PSN message, which is nice to actually get a few compliments. By all intents and purposes, this guy is definitely a lot better than me in skill, but I think, as I've mentioned in my first episode on fraudulent play, it's pretty much one of the biggest reasons I end up winning. Interestingly enough, Wolverine is a Rocket Raccoon user, which you don't see very many of online, and it's kind of cool to go up against. A lot of people choose not to use Rocket Raccoon since he's got no health, but I found it to be a very difficult experience fighting against non-humanoid characters in general. Rocket Raccoon is pretty damn tiny, so a lot of times my standing combos don't really work, and it gets really hard to gauge the distance when coming in from an air attack. I tend to have this problem a lot with Amateras and even Shuma Gorath, just on the sheer basis that their moves are very difficult to predict, as they don't move like humans. But as you can see here, very effective use of the traps to combo. Go into the log trap and then into the rock and roll, which is excellent. But one thing worth noting, and one thing I've definitely realized through this fight, is that I still need to work out mobility, because I'm still using normal dashes and normal air dashes, and I still haven't graduated into doing wave dashes. For those of you who don't know, I am a pad player, so that kind of mobility tends to be a little difficult. I know I have the right trigger, but for some reason, more often than not, I end up screwing up the input and accidentally executing a hyper combo. So I don't know if any of you've got tips on that, but I would be totally willing to hear them. And once again, fighting Wolverine. Here's a question I've been wondering as far as online fighting etiquette goes. If you win or lose, are you expected to change your character lineup, or do you stick with your team? And do you always start with your best? Because you'll see throughout this entire video, I'm still sporting the same starting lineup I've been keeping: Hulk, Nova, and Ryu. And I do this a lot when people challenge me. I'm not really sure whether they expect me to change or whether they want me to stay with it, because, I feel like a lot of times when I rematch people, I want to play the same team just so I can learn to actually beat it. But leave your opinions in the comments, and and I will adjust accordingly unless, I'm doing fine. As you can see, Hulk versus Hulk, always an interesting matchup because it's kind of whoever does standing H late usually wins that fight. A pretty good strategy in general. You want a guy who can do a lot of hits fast, but one of Hulk's greatest weaknesses is that he doesn't have a very good air-to-ground attack, and it's very easily punishable using even Ryu's standing light punch. Unfortunately, not all of my tricks work, as you can see. Faking the Tatsu into Hadouken will just result in him using Gamma Crush and pretty much punishing me on that. Another thing I've kind of neglected on building, and which is sad because I've kind of neglected this the entire time, but the use of assists, and I'm having a lot of difficulty trying to figure out ways to make it work. Partially because I end up happy birthdaying people a lot on online ranked, so admittedly I'm kind of afraid to use it myself. I don't really know how to extend combos with them, to be honest. Especially with this group, because it's not fairly obvious, and not all of them have that kind of OTG potential. If anybody's got any suggestions on that, I'm all ears, but so far most of what I've heard of was to just make a different team altogether. I've also been learning a few extra tricks with Hulk as well. Well, not actually learning, but a few things people don't expect when playing against Hulk. One of the nice things is using air heavy and then going straight into air special, because a lot of players think they can punish Hulk right after that. Another thing, and you'll notice whenever I'm playing Hulk, I often do normal throws, and it's not really the best way to go because you can't really follow up normal throws unless you try to be sneaky and chase after them when they roll and do a crouching light to start another combo. In case any of you were wondering why I always do that, that is the exact reason. Admittedly, I should really start Gamma Tornado, was it? More often than following that up with Gamma Tsunami. It's funny because I can't really get into the mindset of command throws. A lot of times I've adjusted my plays so I'm not as obvious. I don't do jumping attacks quite as often, and usually I just land in front of the guy while they're expecting to block just so I can normal grab them. I don't know, I have a hard time. It's weird because with Hulk, there aren't many easy entries into long combos with him. It usually happens by accident, I feel. On the note of doing obvious air attacks, lately I've been finding that I've also been punishing people who follow those same habits as well, which is kind of nice. Nova's crouching medium is excellent because it keeps him low to the ground, but his hit takes priority. I've been noticing that I've actually been using a lot of very specific strategies with each character, actually. Hulk obviously run in their psychological strategies of making them afraid of the super armor while getting in close, and heavily relying on Chip thanks to Gamma Charge. Nova's crouching medium ground slide is great, but I've also been using him to kind of mix people up in the air, doing a rocket punch, and then if I overshoot, I just dash backwards and fall with a heavy, or if I stop right in front of them, just land with light, and people don't always expect that because the attack stops short. Ryu's been an interesting one because ever since Ultimate with the Hado Shoryuken, I've been pretty much using him to punish a lot of air attacks thanks to the invincibility frames. Additionally, with Shinku Tatsu and Shin Shoryuken, I tend to counter a lot of hypers as well. But also, Ryu unsuspectingly has a lot of mobility change-ups. When falling, doing light Tatsu in the air will cause him to go a little bit forward, so a nice thing to do is overshoot a jump over the opponent and then do a light Tatsu to go backwards, and then they usually don't expect that mix-up. Next guy we got here is, and please do not be offended, but his name is XX Black Boy, I believe, or Bull. Pretty sure it's Boy, but in any case, This guy's really good. We had a bunch of lobby matches with him and Wolverine for like 3 hours, and every time I would get into a winning streak, he pretty much put a stop to that. He uses quite a few variety of characters. His Iron Fist is pretty solid. I love fighting people who don't use the same teams as everybody online. No Weskers, no Sentinels. A lot of Virgils though, but that's okay since he's new, and I don't really fear him that much. I fear him about as much as I fear Dante, which with Hulk I feel like the advantage is on my end. But this guy has a pretty solid Ryu game too. It's unfortunate because he occasionally gets crossed up doing the Tatsu in the air, so he doesn't get to do the Shinku Hadouken finish, but no, I gotta learn to use that donkey kick and do those wall bounces. It's been, I don't know, backwards Shoryuken motion is really difficult for me, but I'll have to work on that next round. Another interesting thing about what I've got going is, with my particular team configuration, I notice I always choose characters that have really good DHC synergy. Hulk's Gamma Wave into Gravimetric Blaster into Shinku Hadouken, or Gamma Crush into Supernova into Shinku Hadouken. Like, it seems like the bulk of my damage really relies on that, and I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good thing, because amongst the better players I've faced online, most of their damage output comes from the normal combos, and the hypers are just kind of there to add that little bar of damage at the end after all that scaling. Admittedly, I still haven't been spending time in training mode, which I know I should, but I don't know. Does anyone else get bored as hell just number crunching at that point? I suppose it's a very reckless way to learn, but I feel like it's a lot more fun this way. And admittedly, having all you guys contact me through PSN and actually challenge me online, it's been a lot of fun, because I guess I don't feel completely overwhelmed by most of the people I play through this, and it's great, and it makes me wonder if my audience is more or less people of the same skill level as I am, which, I mean, I guess ideally that's who would be watching this, since anybody really good would just be disgusted with how I've been playing so far. But I mean, let me know in the comments, why do you follow me on YouTube? Because I really am curious. I mean, it's fairly obvious I'm not that good, and I rely on some pretty sneaky tactics to get by, but yeah, I mean, just to be straightforward on that.
Awesome!
One more! Smash you! Gamma Crush!
I'm here!
And there's the Tatsu counter. Probably one of my most favorite moves in the game, even though it doesn't do that much damage. Botched up that that Gamma Wave, but that was okay, I guess. And ending my combo with Launcher. Such a bad idea for so many characters. Hulk especially. I think I count a little too much on the possibility of them trying to counterattack and relying on that super armor, but yep, gotta break that habit. I'll work on that by next episode. And very solid Nova combo there. Admittedly, I haven't completely fixed the whole Nova combo thing. I know a lot of you say to use heavy after the OTG and relaunch, but I've actually been using that as an opportunity to do team aerial combos instead, since no one really expects it after the second launch. Obviously you will now that I've mentioned it, but... and another anti-air punish with Hado Shoryuken. But yeah, kind of the sneaky game I play. I notice in the higher tiers, a lot of people don't rely on that, probably because it's a fairly unreliable strategy to use. But at least around my skill level, a lot of people seem to still rely on it.
Amazing!
Down! I had shit. It's not over yet.
Level 2!
One more. Smash you. Gamma Crush.
And there goes Hulk. Ryu has become kind of the new anti-Hulk for me.
Level 2! Advancing guard! Not bad. Not bad. Wonderful!
I was pretty sure I wasn't going to make this since I had 3 guys down to low, but thankfully level 3 X Factor Hado Shoryuken saves the day. Anyways, this has been episode 3. Thank you guys for watching. Leave in the comments what you think about the questions I asked today, as well as any other things you want to see from me. In any case, have a happy holidays and enjoy the bonus clip.
Air combo!